Rome conquered kings. It crushed empires. It ruled the ancient world. But in the dark forests beyond the Rhine, Rome lost 3 legions and discovered the limits of its power. Rome once ruled the greatest empire the ancient world had ever known. Rome was not just a city, it was an idea built on discipline, order, and expansion. By the 1st century AD, Rome controlled the greatest empire the ancient world had ever known. Its legions had crushed Carthage. They had defeated the Hellenistic kingdoms. They had absorbed Gaul, Hispania, and Egypt. To Roman observers, conquest seemed inevitable. Yet in the far north of Europe, Rome encountered a land that defied its system. A land without cities, without kings, without submission. This land was Germania. To the Romans, Germania referred to all territory east of the Rhine River and north of the Danube. It was not a political unit, it was a geographical concept. Within this vast region lived dozens of Germanic tribes. Among them were the Cherusci, the Suebi, the Chatti, the Bructeri, the Marsi, and the Marcomanni. Each tribe was independent, each had its own leaders, each defended its own lands. This alone made Germania unlike any region Rome had conquered before. Early Roman contact with Germania. Rome's first serious encounters with the Germanic world came during the Gallic Wars. Between 58 and 50 BCE, Julius Caesar campaigned in Gaul. During these wars, Caesar encountered Germanic tribes east of the Rhine, including the Suebi under their leader Ariovistus. Caesar defeated Ariovistus and drove Germanic forces back across the Rhine. He even crossed the Rhine twice, in 55 and 53 BCE, as a demonstration of Roman power. But Caesar never attempted permanent conquest. The Rhine remained a natural boundary. After Caesar's assassination, Rome descended into civil war. Only after Augustus emerged victorious did Rome return its attention to the northern frontier. Augustus and the expansion into Germania. Emperor Augustus believed in strategic expansion. He did not seek endless conquest, but stable borders. To Augustus and his advisors, the Rhine frontier was too long and too exposed. Germanic raids threatened Roman Gaul. The solution seemed obvious: push the frontier east, establish a new border along the Elbe River. This task fell to Augustus's stepsons. First, Nero Claudius Drusus, known as Drusus the Elder. From 12 BCE to 9 BCE, Drusus led aggressive campaigns into Germania. He fought the Usipetes, the Sugambri, and the Chatti. He built forts along the Lippe River. He constructed canals and roads. Drusus reached the Elbe River itself, farther than any Roman general before him. His death in 9 BCE after a riding accident halted the campaign temporarily. Command then passed to Tiberius, Drusus's brother. Tiberius continued the war methodically. He subdued tribes through a mix of force and diplomacy. Hostages were taken, alliances were forged. By 6 AD, Roman control over much of Germania appeared secure. The illusion of control. Roman success was deceptive. The region was not truly conquered, it was occupied lightly, with few troops spread across vast distances. Roman administrators assumed cooperation would continue. Germanic nobles were incorporated into Roman systems. Some were trained as officers, some received Roman citizenship. One of these men was Arminius of the Cherusci. Arminius had served Rome as an auxiliary commander. He had fought in Roman wars. He understood Roman tactics better than most Roman officers. But beneath the surface, resentment was growing. Roman law replaced tribal custom. Roman taxation replaced traditional tribute. Roman justice was harsh and unfamiliar. To many Germanic leaders, Rome was no longer a protector, it was an occupying power. The Varus disaster, 9 AD. In 7 AD, Augustus appointed Publius Quintilius Varus as governor of Germania. Varus was an experienced administrator, but he was not suited for frontier command. In 9 AD, Varus marched 3 legions through northern Germania. The legions were Legio 17, Legio 18, Legio 19. Along with auxiliaries and civilians, the column was massive.
Arminius warned Varus of a rebellion and guided him through forested terrain. It was a trap. In the Teutoburg Forest, Germanic forces under Arminius launched a coordinated ambush. The terrain was disastrous, the weather was brutal. Roman formations collapsed. For 3 days, the legions were attacked without respite. Varus committed suicide. The legions were annihilated. The numbers 17, 18, and 19 were never used again. This was one of the worst defeats in Roman history. Rome strikes back. Germanicus. The shock in Rome was immense. Emperor Augustus reportedly cried out, "Varus, give me back my legions." But Rome did not retreat immediately. Between 14 and 16 AD, Germanicus, nephew of Tiberius, led massive campaigns into Germania. Germanicus commanded up to 8 legions. He fought Arminius directly. Major battles included the Battle of Edistaviso, the Battle of the Angravarian Wall. Roman forces won tactical victories. Arminius was wounded. Roman standards were recovered. Yet, despite battlefield success, Germania could not be pacified. Germanic forces refused decisive engagement. They retreated, regrouped, and returned. Supply lines stretched dangerously long. Storms destroyed Roman fleets. Casualties mounted. Emperor Tiberius ends the dream. Emperor Tiberius was a realist. He understood the cost, he understood the terrain, and he understood the lack of reward. In 16 AD, Tiberius recalled Germanicus. The Elbe frontier was abandoned. The Rhine became Rome's permanent boundary. This decision marked a turning point in Roman imperial policy. Why Germania could not be conquered? Several factors made Germania uniquely resistant. First, geography. Dense forests, rivers, and swamps negated Roman discipline. Second, economics. Germania had no cities, no mines, and little taxable wealth. Third, politics. There was no central authority to defeat. Fourth, warfare. Germanic tribes fought with flexibility and local knowledge. Finally, cost. Permanent occupation required endless troops and resources. Rome gained nothing it did not already have. Later conflicts and long-term impact. Rome continued to fight Germanic tribes for centuries. Emperors like Domitian, Marcus Aurelius, and Septimius Severus fought defensive wars along the frontier. Germanic leaders like Maroboduus and later Ariovistus shaped Rome's northern strategy. But Germania was never annexed. The Rhine and Danube remained Rome's limits. Rome failed to conquer Germania not because it lacked power. It failed because Germania could not be reshaped into a Roman province. In the forests of the north, Rome discovered the limits of empire.